Olympic Games Ancient Times by Angel Bryant and Peyton Augustine. Pentathlon. In ancient Greece, the pentathlon was made up of 5 different events, which were distance, javelin, long jump, running, and wrestling. Pankration. In ancient Olympics, there were very few rules in this fight. Everything was allowed, including biting, dislocating joints, and gouging of each other's eyes. Equestrian races. Another horse race was part of the ancient Olympics. This was unlike today's Olympics, and yet very much like other horse races of modern day. The owner of the horse hired a jockey to ride the animal. It was even possible for a riderless horse to win as long as it was the fastest. This was a competition more about horse training and breeding, both very important to the Greeks, than about any human athletics. Running events. First was the long-distance Dolichos. Second was the stage race, which was a short-distance sprint, and the third was the Dialos, which is known as the double stage race, as it was exactly twice its length. The Dolichos is similar to today's marathon, but is much shorter. It was about 2 1/4 miles long. Also, it was run within the stadium and not through the surrounding countryside. The stage race and the Dolichos were run much like today's shorter Olympic foot races, with one important exception. The runners were nude, as were many of the sports events in that time.
Two and a half thousand years ago, sport was tough. Few athletes could survive the rigors of the great sporting arenas of the ancient Greeks. And only one athlete has survived the ravages of time to offer a unique insight into a remarkable ancient world. For the first time, we're able to recreate the life of that athlete and the world in which he battled for glory. The ancient Olympics. "50 years ago, a remarkable discovery was made in Taranto, southern Italy. Opening an ancient tomb, archaeologists found a magnificent sarcophagus. 4 richly decorated jars at each corner revealed that its owner had an obsession for sport. Inside the sarcophagus, archaeologists found a fantastically well-preserved skeleton and a shining alabaster perfume jar, a symbol of an athlete. This skeleton was more than a relic from the distant past. It was the world's only survivor from the arenas of the ancient games.
First learned about the discovery of this athlete and was dumbfounded. There he was, a real athlete, the physical remains of a person who actually competed in ancient games.
The athlete of Taranto is our only direct link to an astonishing lost world. Hundreds of years before the birth of Christ, thousands of people came to see the greatest celebrities of sport in an age when sport was an obsession.
To be a big, successful athlete meant that you would gain so much honor. You would essentially be, well, for modern terms, a star.
Ancient records tell of champions like Leonidas of Rhodes, famed for winning every running event over 4 successive Olympics. feared fighters like Sostratos of Sicyon, known as Mr. Fingertips, for his habit of snapping his opponent's fingers to end many a career.
Athletes got a wreath of olive leaves that they wore on their What athletes were awarded? In the ancient times, the athletes got a wreath of olive leaves that they wore on their heads. The athletes were also awarded a branch from a wild olive tree. The branch was cut off the tree with a golden-handled knife. The winning athlete would give some thanks to Zeus, and the gods would favor the town of a winning athlete. Competitors. In ancient Greece, Greek male citizens competed against each other in the 10 sports. They competed nude and put olive oil on themselves. The competitors would pray to Hermes for speed. Women in the Olympics. Women were not allowed to compete in the Olympics and were forbidden to watch. If a woman was caught watching the Olympic Games, she would be killed.
Nine disciplines, 13 countries, and only 300 athletes. With this many participants, the first modern Olympic Games was held in Athens, Greece, between the 6th and 15th of April, 1896. The idea of reviving the ancient Olympic Games came from a French baron, Pierre de Coubertin. As a first step, Coubertin founded the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, at a General Assembly he organized in Paris in 1884. The right to organize the first modern Olympic Games was given to Greece. However, the Greek government was not happy about the opportunity because they had neither the experience in organizing sports competitions nor enough money. They didn't have a proper stadium, and they had a hard time deciding whether they should renovate an old one or build a new one. A wealthy Greek merchant came to the rescue. Georgios Averov offered 1 billion drachmas to build the sports facilities. (1896). Only 1 year after the completion of the first motion picture, this film depicted the opening ceremony of the first Olympic Games. George I, the King of Greece, led the opening ceremony of the first Olympics on the 5th of April. 60,000 spectators were in attendance to celebrate this moment of sports history. In the Games, the contestants measured their skill in 9 sports: gymnastics, tennis, shooting, weightlifting, wrestling, athletics, swimming, fencing, and cycling. At the first Olympic Games, only men could participate. There was no gold medal. The champions were rewarded a silver medal. The King's first congratulations went to an American student, James B. Connolly. The first champion of the modern Olympic Games won the triple jump with a 13.71 meter jump. Harvard University, where Connolly was a student, wouldn't allow Connolly to travel during the semester. However, the dean's refusal couldn't deter him. But, alas, his gold medal couldn't save him. After his return, he was expelled from Harvard. Today, the world record triple jump is 18.29 meters. People can jump 4 meters and 58 centimeters further than 116 years ago. But the preparation and the competitiveness of those athletes cannot be compared with modern competitors today. For example, the marathon runners often purchase their refreshment from shops along the road. The winner of the race, Spiridon Louise, even had 1 or 2 glasses of wine on the way. This competition was preceded by the announcement of an incredible reward. The sponsor of this event, Avarov, offered his daughter's hand 1 million drachmas as a dowry if a Greek could win this event. The outfield run into the Athens Olympic Stadium. The distance of the race was 40 kilometers. Louise, who started the race as a simple postman, finished as a millionaire. He didn't need the daughter of Avarov and the dowry as he was married already, but in the stadium he was showered with jewelry, gifts, money, and even received a flock of sheep and a cowherd as well. The Englishman, John Pius Boland, became a competitor and even a champion in a way which seems most amateur. Boland came to Athens as a tourist. There he heard about the race and quickly entered. Finally, he left victorious. The American, Robert Garrett, threw a discus in Athens for the first time in his life, but he performed so well that he won the competition with a 29.15 meters throw. Garrett's specialty was the shot put, where he also finished first. The cyclists could see the town of Marathon as well. At the first Olympic Games, 6 winners were announced, 5 in track cycling and 1 in road cycling. The 87-kilometer-long road course took place on the Athens Marathon-Athens route. The Greek, Aristides Konstantinides, won the event with a bike he borrowed from one of the spectators.